Okay, shalom, brothers. This is Brother Kazak back again with part 2 of should we vote or not? Okay, should we vote or not? Okay, so in Israel, right, the word choose is a synonym, if you will, of vote, right? Choose. So now, if we go to Exodus chapter 17. And I'm just going to kind of give you a brief synopsis. What's happening here? Israel is dealing with different tribal people coming in to war and to scare them off because the Most High made a promise to Israel, a promised land. And so to keep Israel distracted, the enemy kept sending the various different tribal people, the natives of the land, to fight and to try to defeat Israel, which they couldn't do because it was the Most High's plan and will for Israel to be in the land of promise, right? Okay, so now if we skip on down to verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. So Amalek is one of the descendants of Esau, the twin brother of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Right. So that Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. Verse 9. Moshe said unto Yahoshua or Joshua or Yahshua, whichever you prefer. He said to Yahshua, come choose us out men, right? And go out and fight with Amalek tomorrow, and I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of Elohim in my hand. So notice what Moshe told Joshua, you choose out, right, men. Now, we don't know the process of how he went about to do it. Did he just go and say, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you, and I want you, and I want you, and I want you? Or did he, I believe that I can't prove it, but using logic, he didn't know the next man from a can of spray paint. So obviously he had to take some kind of poll to find out who was qualified, right? I don't think he had his eyes closed and, hey, I want this one here. Hey, I want this one over here. He chose out, he said, choose out men and go out and fight with Amalek, right? And so somebody said, brother, you kind of read into the text. Well, allow me to, okay, use a little bit of discernment. I'm not saying this is a doctrine of truth. If you think I'm saying that, then you're making yourself look like a fool, right? But I'm saying, I don't believe that Joshua just picked a person that just to be picking people, right? I'm sure he got recommendations, right? You want to choose somebody, you got a whole nation of people. You don't know who's lazy, right? Who has maybe a physical weakness or something that they can't, or maybe they have a weak heart. They can't stand to see blood. That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying, no, I'm not saying it's written in the book. Okay. But what I'm saying is I'm sure he had to take some kind of poll among the people to find out how to make his selection. Right. Okay. And I hear you, brother, that's just a stretch. Maybe it is. Okay. Okay, Joshua 17:10. So Joshua or Yahshua did as Moshe had said to him and fought with Amalek, and Moshe and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moshe held up his hands, so it came to pass when Moshe held up his hands that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hands, Amalek prevailed. But Moshe's hands was heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon, and Aharon and her stayed up his hand, the one on the one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steadily until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomforted Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yah said unto Moshe, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Yahshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Okay, so that's one of the sons of Esau, Amalek. Okay, now, so Moshe built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh Nisai, which means Yah is my banner. Okay. For he said, because Yah have sworn that Yah will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Is that what he said? Or did he say he was going to cause the remembrance of Amalek from under the heaven? He was going to utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek. Which is it? Or does it mean the same? You tell me. Is he going to erase the remembrance, or is it going to be a war with Amalek from generation to generation? The Most High said, the Most High said, the verse up above, that he said, I will utterly put out, let's look at the Hebrew, I will actually macha, which means to stroke, rub, okay, and aith, or the self, or the entity, or the people. I will stroke or rub out, erase out in remembrance, or the memento, or recollection. So was that a literal destruction, or was that a spiritual destruction? You tell me. All right. Somebody said, well, brother, you the teacher. I'm not the teacher. I'm reading the text just like you are. But anyway, let's start at verse 19. It's kind of in the middle of a thought, but let's see what we can get from there. Okay. Verse 18:19. Hearken now unto the voice. I will give thee counsel, and Elohim shall be with thee. Be thou for the people towards Elohim, that thou mayest bring the causes unto Elohim. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as it fears Elohim, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So it shall be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Right? 23. If thou shalt do this thing, and Elohim commanded thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moshe hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he said. And Moshe chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over people, rulers thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons, right? And the hard causes they brought unto Moshe, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moshe let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. So that's interesting. This was the advice of Yarithro or Jethro to Moshe to choose or to select. It's like in the presidential campaign, the president does what? Chooses his cabinet. This was the government of Israel. And this was advised by his father-in-law. So Israel has had a history of electing officials, in this particular case, appointed officials, by the advice, in this case, of his father-in-law. Yahshua 18:1. The whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh and set up the tabernacle of the congregation there, and the land was subdued before them. And there remained among children of Israel 7 tribes which had not yet, received their inheritance. Okay, so he says there remain among the children of Israel 7 tribes. So out of 12, 7 tribes had not received their land. Okay. Verse 3, and Yahshua said unto the children of Israel, how long are you slack to go to possess the land, which Yah of your fathers have given to you? Verse 4, give out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them, and they shall rise and go through the land and describe it according to the inheritance of them, that they shall come again to me. So now, what did Joshua just do here, brothers and sisters? He said, give out from among you 3 men. In other words, give, right? Bring, right? It's the word Yahab. To give, figuratively, to put, right? Imperatively, right? To, or reflectively, to come, to give, okay? To give out from among you 3 men for each tribe. So you go out, he's telling them, and you make a selection, right? Or take a poll, right? Or vote, right? Because that's what you're basically doing. They didn't have a ballot, maybe, but they went and made a selection and brought them to Yahshua or Yahushua or Joshua for the purposes of what? Them getting their inheritance. Watch what it says here. And go through the land and describe it according to the inheritance of them, and they shall come again to me. Right? Verse 5. And they shall divide it unto 7 parts. Yehuda shall abide in their coast of the south, and the house of Yosef shall abide in their coast in the north. Verse 6. You shall therefore describe the land into 7 parts, and bring the description hither to me, that I may do what? Cast lots for you here before Yah your Elohim. Do you know what casting lots is? That's how many decisions was made. When we look at the government system of today, when they go before the legislation, right, to make the decisions, they have a form of where they get together to make the laws or legislations, which is similar to this here, which is a way of them coming together, fleecing or casting a lot to make a decision what to do. Okay. The word for lot is, it says in the Hebrew word goral. It says to a meaning to rough as a stone or as a pebble. That is a lot, a small stone used for that purpose. A portion or a destiny as a determined by lot. Okay. Now, sort of kind of similar to like lotto, a lottery, right? Okay. But anyway, I'm just about out of time. So there's going to be a continuation on this. And so in part 3. So until next time, may the blessings of the Most High Yah be with you and your family. Shalom, shalom, shalom.